This is Fuzzy Road to Health, and I'm Fuzzy D. So today is December 2nd, 2024. And as you can see on the title there, I had some struggles with dairy, which led to honey. It fell off the wagon, so to speak. Yeah, this was a real struggle. So as I was using more dairy, it started kind of setting up that sugar addiction in the background. And I didn't even realize, I kept crossing over from using dairy as a condiment just for a little bit of flavor for certain things to using more and more of it. And I was using a lot of it in my fancy gravies and sauces and stuff. Like lots of cream cheese or heavy cream or both. And it started setting me up for that uh, cycle and addiction with sugar, in my case in the form of honey. I started getting a little bit of a flu, sore throat, that kind of a thing. So I kind of went to one of my old standbys when I started feeling sick. Had some honey lemon or lime tea, and yeah, that helped me feel better from the flu. But then I started craving sugar like I haven't craved since I went carnivore almost 2 years ago. And it was pretty crazy. I was struggling for about 3 or 4 weeks there, really having some issues, and started putting a little bit of weight back on. And so I just had to cut it all out. The last vlog I talked about that I needed to cut out the dairy. So that has happened now. I completely cut it out and got off the honey and everything too a few days ago. And so now my weight, within a couple of days of getting rid of all of that, my weight started to drop back down and then up a little bit. And then I'm just kind of hovering right at the 300 mark right now. But I haven't been able to go back to OMAD. Just, the craving to eat more times in the day has been a real struggle. So my goal is to get back to OMAD I'm probably going to wait until after Christmas now, with all the cooking and, stuff going on. It's just not the right time for me to be stressing about this stuff. So, my second meal of the day quite often is just something I can snack on that's safe, like pork rinds. They're not particularly tasty unless you get the better ones like the chicharron, which are cooked more, so they have a better flavor. But yeah, I mean that's kind of what I've been using to tide me over during the day, and that's it's got me stabilized and off the sugar and everything. Some of you who follow my social media stuff may have seen the post I did a few days ago about getting a full spectrum sun lamp. Now, the reason I did this, in case you didn't see the post, is, I live in northwestern Alberta, and we have pretty short days. And by the end of winter, we've got like 4 or 5 hours of sunlight a day. And, further up north, they go a couple of months without sun. But either way, not having enough sunlight affects me. And plus we live on the back side of the building, so like then the north side, so we get very little sun in here. And most times I like it that way because it stays cooler. However, it's being a bit of an issue with how I'm feeling, both mood wise and physically. I've been noticing as we've been getting less sunlight, and I've been getting outside less because of the issues I've been having with my neck and mid back and stuff like that. So I haven't been going out and doing a whole lot. So I'm not getting much sun, and I've been noticing, every little thing that my wife gets exposed to and brings home, I start to feel it. And, that's not good. So I realized that I just wasn't getting enough sun, enough light, enough full spectrum light. So I took advantage of the Black Friday deals out there. And some of you know I've been doing some upgrades to my hardware and computer system, but that's not really within the scope of this channel. But I've also been, doing some very specific things to work on and improve my health. And since I got this sun lamp and started using it the last few days, I have noticed a real difference in just my general mood and physically how I'm feeling. I was starting to come down sick again with a new flu bug that's going through the hospital where my wife works, and it's gone. The getting all that full spectrum light. I've been doing several hours a day at different times of the day just to kind of get me kind of supercharged in the vitamin D department. So I think that's working out really well. I know people were asking me how it was doing, and I noticed a difference after the first 90 minutes of using it. I noticed my mood getting better, but I've been noticing myself feeling better physically as well by using it. So, and I noticed last night, I didn't really sleep any more hours than I normally do, but the sleep I got was much better, much deeper, more solid, and felt much better rested when I got up this morning. Typically, I only sleep about 6 hours. Ever since I went carnivore, I just can't seem to sleep beyond that unless I really kind of force myself, which usually doesn't work very well. But yeah, using that sun lamp has been kind of resetting my circadian rhythm and helping me, get some not just vitamin D, but what I've discovered through some research is that exposure to the right frequencies of sunlight or the right color temperature, at certain times of the day, it changes the color temperature. So when you're using one of these sun lamps, you need to reproduce some of these different color temperatures for specific periods of time to help things out. So that's what I've been doing. But, it also stimulates the production of natural hormones that the body needs. When you get that kind of twilight exposure from like sunrise and then the next stage after that, that helps to stimulate serotonin. So it helps your mood and helps you feel better for the day. And it also helps boost up your testosterone. It doesn't matter whether you're man or woman. I mean, testosterone is part of what gives us energy and helps us feel good during the day. And both men and women need a certain amount of testosterone in their life. Women need less of it and more estrogen. But both men and women, we need testosterone. And in the evening, when you get that same kind of twilight, from what you get from sunset, that actually stimulates your body's production of melatonin. And of course, all the time that you're being exposed to sunlight, it's helping with the vitamin D and some other vitamins as well that it helps create. And when you have a high enough vitamin D levels, it helps your body absorb other minerals and vitamins that you're getting much more readily and use them better. So it's definitely important, and it's making a big difference. And I'm actually getting a little color on my skin. I was looking pretty pale and Casper-like. Usually by spring, living up here, I'm pretty darn pale white come spring. So this lamp's definitely helping me out. So, would I recommend anyone else to get one of these sun lamps? Well, if you live in an area like I do with limited sunshine, or you work a job where you're working a lot of nights and you're not getting enough sunlight, Yeah, by all means, I would definitely recommend one of these, but make sure you get one that provides true full spectrum light, especially when you've got one that runs off of LEDs. LEDs tend to produce a lot more blue light. So you need one that's designed specifically to give you that underlying UVB and infrared that you need. Blue light that we get from our computer screens and televisions and smartphones and that kind of stuff, it actually has a really bad effect on the brain. Um, there was actually research done in the 50s and 60s specifically about blue light, and they discovered then that that blue light can cause some imbalances with how we process information. So it can make us easier to be fooled and more compliant and less able to think for ourselves. And kind of makes you wonder, is that why we have so much blue light producing technology, and why things like incandescent light bulbs in the States were outlawed, literally outlawed. They're not allowed to make them anymore. And it produces a more full spectrum light. And LED lights, they produce a lot of blue light. We perceive the light as being bright, clean, white light, but there's a lot of blue mixed in there that gives us that effect. And, if nothing else, even if you don't necessarily believe the results of that other research, it's pretty widely accepted that too much blue light, especially later in the day, can really mess up your sleep cycles, your circadian rhythm, and it can mess with some of your hormone levels, because that blue light kind of blocks your ability to naturally produce things like melatonin. So that's why, even though I don't need glasses in front of the computer anymore, that's why I'm wearing these. These are actually like blue blocker, like really fairly high end quality wise blue blocking. You can get some that are cheaper that are like really super orange or yellow, but these are a little better quality. I've actually had them around for years and I just wasn't using them. So I dug them out of a drawer, cleaned them up. And because, my regular glasses that I normally need for just around the house, unless I'm this close to something, they've got good blue blocking in them. But that's since I made this change, since I started using these again and using the sun lamp, it's definitely helped out my sleep patterns and how I feel physically, and it's made a big difference. So I think if you're getting enough sunlight, just do what you can to block the blue light exposure that you're getting. It really does do bad things to the body. Do yourself a favor and do a little research on DuckDuckGo or Perplexity or um, Google. Google has become so bad when you try and search, you just get pages of ads before you find too much useful. So I tend to stay away from Google myself, but that's just a personal thing. But yeah, if you look for uh, how blue light affects the body on one of the big search engines, you'll be pretty shocked at what you find. So I encourage you to take this little extra step. I would like to be able to sit here and tell you that since I went carnivore, everything's been peachy and it's all been progress and everything's been great. And that just wouldn't be true. And I don't think it's true for virtually anybody out there that's carnivore or keto or any other way of eating or plan of life that people follow. There's always going to be struggles. It's never going to just always be perfect and that kind of a thing. So I've certainly had my struggles. Those of you who followed my journey, you've seen those struggles, and it happens. And what I've found is, I needed to have some support groups. Now I've got a couple of support groups that I belong to. One is specifically for carnivore, so that's called the Carnivore Warriors, and I get a lot of really good support there. We have usually weekly Zooms, or a couple times a week. Sometimes I usually only do the one a week, but and then I've got another support group of some other guys that I met with my leadership training. We still meet most Saturday mornings and support each other and just see what's going on in our lives. And that's been a big help. I mean, you don't need to do the same path that I do to find support, but I really recommend you find somebody that, or a group of somebodies that you can go to, that you can feel safe with, that you can talk to about this stuff. I belong to a ton of different carnivore and ketovore and those types of groups on online on different platforms. And it's all great, you can all get support, but you can also get some yahoos on there that they're just out there to troll people. They're not really interested in helping each other out. So you need to find this group of people that you can always count on to be able to talk to and share your struggles with and share your wins with. It makes a really big difference when you've got some people that you can hang with, that understand where you're coming from. A lot of our families, when they see us going carnivore or ketovore, whatever your case may be, when they see us doing this, they've got so much brainwashing running around in their head that we get a lot of pushback from our families on this way of life, regardless of how much it helps us, how much we heal, how healthy it is for us. People just have a hard time wrapping their brain around it. And they're usually not the ones that you want to go to for support when you're struggling. So, if you're ever struggling, excuse me, if you find you're ever struggling and you need somebody to talk to, get in touch with me. My website's on there. All my socials are linked on my website, so you can find me through there. If you already know where to follow me on social media, you could come there as well. I've got my YouTube channel. So that's what that looks like if you're looking for my channel to run across. I've also got a coaching group in Facebook, and I've got some stuff going on Instagram. So it's yeah, there's all kinds of places that you can go to find people to hang with, to support you, and for you to support them. That's how this community is successful. We help each other when we need it. And I have gotten so much help from this community. The knowledge I've gained, the progress I've made, the way my life has changed since finding this way of life, it's been incredible. And for those of you who don't know my story, you can find out more information on my website. I talk about it there. There's previous videos on this channel. I don't want to get into a big long explanation in this video, but suffice it to say that I was bedridden for about 10 years, in a wheelchair for a few years before that. And I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not like I couldn't ever get out of bed. I could with help. And, I could make it from bed to bathroom or bed to couch, but that was about as far as it went. And for the first few years, I needed help to be able to stand or to be able to walk. Usually couldn't push the wheelchair very far before my arms would give out from all the autoimmune stuff. So, I mean, there was a ton of stuff there, and I had tons of comorbidities. It was amazing that I was still alive at that point, I think. And, I mean, since I went carnivore and put all the autoimmune stuff into remission and a bunch of other chronic disease that I reversed, put into remission, healed, whatever you want to call it, I don't like to say I'm cured because I'm not. I I eat the carnivore lifestyle and that keeps me healthy. If I go off that carnivore lifestyle, like I did just recently, kind of, I didn't go too crazy, but, you know, lots of honey and lots of dairy. So lots of sugar, it all breaks down into sugar. So, and I noticed my joints were starting to hurt after about a week of that. And, um, starting to get a little swelling in my wrist, like my arthritis was starting to come back. And, just, the seed oil will trigger that within an hour, but the sugar triggers it too. It just takes longer. And yeah, that was really scary. When I started noticing that, I was like, what are you doing? You know better than this. You know what the results are. And I guess in some ways it was a good thing because in some ways I wasn't very sympathetic to those that have struggled with getting off and staying off the sugar, whether they're going keto or carnivore. And I didn't have a lot of sympathy for them because when I first went carnivore, it was pretty easy, but I was really, really sick. So, the moral of the story is, don't get cocky and just keep doing what you need to do every day. And when you have a bad day, and you will, don't let that just derail you entirely. Start over the next day. And we all have to do it occasionally. Even Dr. Chafee didn't stick 100% to carnivore after he first went carnivore. He tried a few things off and on over the years, especially when he was working a lot over in the UK there for a while. And yeah, I don't think he struggled with it too much. He noticed the issues and stopped it. But it's not always that easy. So I really strongly recommend you have a good support team out there, and make use of them. Help them when they need it, and they'll help you when you need it. Just be part of the community and part of people's support systems. And that's how we help each other. That's how we make it through. So, like I said, if you ever need some support, if you ever want to talk to somebody, I, at this point so far anyway, I answer any messages that I get. One day I may get too busy. I may get too many messages that I can't keep up, but that's not the case at this point. So if you need help, if you need to talk to somebody, feel free. I'm not that hard to find. Like I said, go to my website. All that information's there. And you can email me. You can direct message me. You can contact me through Facebook or Instagram or I keep wanting to say Twitter, X. And I'm even on the main carnivore group on Reddit. So I'm not too hard to find. So I do have some videos planned for the next little bit now that I've got my system all redone. I was talking about last time, I've been making a few more tweaks and changes, and I did a little bit of hardware updating on my system. So I've kind of got most of that stuff behind me. So now I'm going to take some time and do some of the videos that I've had planned. So you should see some more coming out in the next week or two. I was going to have some done sooner, but I've just been having, the struggles with my back and my neck. Some of you know that I had to go for a spinal injection in my neck here 2 or 3 weeks ago. So, I've just been dealing with that, but the way things are working out with the injection, it hasn't really done anything. It's stabilized me. I had been getting worse there for the last couple of months, but It's stabilized that, so I'm not getting worse. I've had a slight improvement in one of my fingers, in how I'm able to move it. Not a lot, but my doctor will confirm it, like my surgeon, when I talk to him here in a few weeks. But I'm pretty sure that he's going to want to book me for after surgery. So I'll keep you posted on that. So thanks for hanging out with us today. If you feel we've earned it, please take a moment to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss future videos coming out. We'll see you on the next one, folks.